Hi, welcome. I am so glad that you are here watching this, whether you're watching it live or on the replay. I am Lexi. Nice to meet you. I am a neurodivergent teacher, tutor, entrepreneur. I taught in the classroom for 5 years at a school that specialized in neurodiverse students, kids with ADHD, dyslexia. I am Orton Gillingham trained. I have been tutoring full time for the last 3 years, and I'm really excited to share with you the best ways to support your student, your neurodivergent student, and help them avoid the summer slide. So I'm going to share my screen and show my slides on screen instead. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat box or the comments whenever, and I will get to them at the end. All right, share screen. All right. Looks like I've got it going on this one. All right, so this presentation tonight, this workshop, is to help your neurodivergent student skip the summer slide. My goal is that by the end of this workshop, you will have the tools and the knowledge that you need to help set them up for success. One of the things that I think is the most unique thing about the way that I am presenting is the fact that I am neurodivergent myself. And I am also well versed in helping neurodivergent students. So not only is this going to benefit your neurodivergent student, but it's going to be implementable if you yourself have ADHD and you forget everything as well. So my name is Lexi Limbert Soderberg. I'm a teacher, tutor, writer, and entrepreneur. Those are my daughters, Sophia and Lucille. I have started 3 businesses, Mrs. Lexi Kelly Tutoring, Barefoot and Burnout, and Teacher Transformers. And if you need to email me at any time, lexi@teachertransformers.com is the way to best reach me. So the reason that I branded this as the neurodivergent student avoiding the summer slide is because neurodivergent individuals are people whose brains function differently than what is considered typical or neurotypical. And so if you see it on like Facebook groups and stuff, a lot of times it'll say NT or ND, meaning neurotypical or neurodivergent. So this encompasses a whole bunch of things, not just ADHD, but also autism, anxiety, dyslexia, anything that makes your brain setup different than someone else's. So embracing your neurodivergence and celebrating your unique ways of thinking, learning, experiencing the world. So many of our huge life altering inventions have been from neurodivergent brains, like Albert Einstein and people like that. It's really awesome to be able to share these with your students or your children and to kind of help them take ownership. Like, yeah, and some pride. Like, I can be cool too, and I can be this out of the box thinker. Neurodiverse individuals are more susceptible to the summer slide because they need to work twice as hard to just get the information encoded into their brains in the first place. And then they have to work harder again in order to access it. So without consistent routine and practice, they're going to lose months of progress every summer. Summer slide is the learning loss that many students experience during summer break when they're not engaged in regular educational activities. And that's the big thing there, the regular educational activities. So for neurodivergent students, the summer slide can be even more pronounced because they really rely on that consistent structure and support to help keep them on track. So I have 5 of the best ways to support your neurodivergent student this summer. The first one is structured programs. So camps, any kind of routines at home, library visits, daily tasks, like, oh, every day you got to read for half an hour before screen time or screen free till 3. Sorry, that's just the rule. Like that's, it's if you were at school, you wouldn't be able to be on your phone until 3:30 anyway. So 3 o'clock's kind of a win-win, right? And it's all about the way that you present it too. It has to be presented as a win-win or as a positive thing if you're like, no screen time ever. it's going to be less well received than this is just the way that our routine is. Just we start with this part and then this. The parental involvement part is huge too. So if you have a daily routine of reading half an hour every day, model that yourself too. Like it's good for adult brains to read as well. And you can also listen to audiobooks. This doesn't have to be sitting down reading a hard physical book. You can be listening to an audiobook as a family in the car, or, instead of watching TV at night, maybe you're all kind of snuggling up and listening to an audiobook, anything like that. But the more that you engage with it as a parent, the more that your child is going to get out of it as well. The next thing to help support your child this summer is continuity. So I've already said a few times that neurodiverse brains really, really thrive on consistency. So anything that is just the same every day just helps ease some of that mental load. So if every morning they wake up, they shower, they read 20 minutes, or if they wake up and they get on their phone every morning, that's going to be their brain's consistency that they're going to want to do every day. You've got to, as a parent, kind of step in and help them set that up for what their summer is going to look like, what their routine is going to be. The next thing is the use of technology. So lights and sounds are very stimulating for people that need more dopamine, like people with ADHD. And you can use technology without letting it kind of take over. I use different programs like Rocket Math and Epic, which is a online books. There's ebooks, there's audiobooks, and then Rocket Math is math fact fluency. I use these pieces of technology to kind of increase the excitement and the engagement. So it's less like tutoring and more like, oh yeah, I get to work with Lexi. And the social interaction is the last piece that I want to touch on here. So, having some good, strong communication tools for your family interactions, as well as attending summer social events. So, things like your local library will host different events. And I'm actually hosting one June 21st here in Columbus. It's at the Old Worthington Library. And if you want to, kind of keep your child engaged over the summer in learning activities, but also seeing other kids do that too. So if they're just at the pool all day and they're talking to their friends who don't have to read, they don't have any summer homework, they're going to want to do that. But if they're at the library, every Wednesday and they know that that's just part of their routine, it's going to help make that consistent and make it easier and smoother. So I want to help empower the parents here because the more that comes from you, the easier it's going to be for your child. So, if you've got more hands-on activities, going to different places, think of like the field trips you went on as a kid. Do you want to go to museums? Do you want to go to parks? Where do you want to take your kid? And help them become more independent too. So I have a reading tracker that you can use all summer to log how many minutes your child reads every day. And that kind of gives them more independence too, because they can set their own goal and work towards that goal and give them that piece of autonomy. And then there's also the mental health piece is super important as well. If you don't do therapy or anything like that, like try to continue whatever you do during the school year throughout the summer as well. So just kind of, again, keep that continuity, keep that support system in place, and have that be one less thing that your child has to think about or worry about. This quote came up that says, empower your child's uniqueness. Together we can conquer any challenge that arises. And I love that quote because, as I said earlier, Albert Einstein, some of our biggest brains that have changed the world have been neurodivergent. And so I love that we are able to kind of draw on that and excite our own students and our own children about embracing their uniqueness as well. All right, so before I end, I'm going to double check to see what questions we have. I lost my Zoom. All right. So, what are some ways that I can help my child meet other students this summer? Okay, that's a great one. So, one of the ways that you are going to be able to help your child is to attend those social events. If you're not sure of where to find one, look it up on one of the Facebook groups or your local library's website. There's always something going on. And the next question is, what if I don't have time? It's a really, really hard question because it can feel like we don't have enough time in the day to, bathe, eat, sleep. But think about what you do with your time as modeling your priorities for your kids. So if you're like, nope, I can't read today, it's been too long, I'm going to sit and watch TV instead. That's what they're going to internalize as well. Versus if you're like, you know what, helping my brain grow is so important to me that I'm going to prioritize reading every day, or I'm going to prioritize taking some time to journal and write down my thoughts and my feelings and have that consistent routine because I know that my brain and my body will feel better if I continue to do the consistent things in my life and kind of modeling that for your kid. All right. Do we have any other questions? All right. Well, if not, I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to make sure I covered all my topics. Yep. Okay. So if you need more support, please follow me on any social media at Barefoot and Burnout. And I am doing tutoring all summer online, in person. I'm hosting events at the library. Like I said, June 21st at the Old Worthington Library. We're launching a pen pal event with a nursing home. So if you have any interest in that and helping your kids stay engaged this summer as well, that would be awesome. And I hope to see you there. Feel free to email me anytime with whatever questions you have. Thank you so much for coming.